Well, good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to be doing our May 31st, just for today, in a meditation. Hope you're doing well this morning. It's good to be with you. It's good to be anywhere, as a matter of fact, not using drugs, isn't it? I have a lot of gratitude this morning. The title of the meditation is Keep It Simple. We live a day at a time, but also from moment to moment. When we stop living in the here and now, our problems become magnified unreasonably. Now, that comes from the basic text, page 99. Life often seems too complicated to understand, especially for us who dodged it for so long. When we stopped using drugs, many of us came face to face with a world that was confusing, even terrifying. Looking at life in all its details, all at once, may be overwhelming. We think that maybe we can't handle life after all, and that it's useless to try. These thoughts feed themselves, and pretty soon we're paralyzed by the imagined complexity of life. Happily, we don't have to fix everything at once. Solving a single problem seems possible, so we take them one at a time. We take care of each moment as it comes, and then take care of the next moment as it comes. We learn to stay clean just for today, and we approach our problems the same way. When we live life in each moment, it's not such a terrifying prospect. One breath at a time, we can stay clean and learn to live. Just for today, I will keep it simple by living in this moment only. Today, I will tackle only today's problems. I will leave tomorrow's problems to tomorrow. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please, and thank you. All right, guys, we're looking at keeping it simple. We're looking at being able to live each day, one day at a time, just for today, right? One day at a time. I love that because to me, right, the acronym for that, ODAAT, ODAT. So we ODAT it, right? We live one day at a time, also from moment to moment. I love this because we have often heard it said, I don't know about you, but I know for me, I often heard it said that sometimes you have to live it a minute at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 hour at a time. It's not just one day at a time, all of the time, but in each day, right? In each day, those 24 hours that we have to live, we have to live it moment by moment. We all know that. We all know that as things come up, we have to cope with them. We're clean today. I'm not using today. I have to deal with that today. I don't get to put my head in the sand and act like it's not there or this is not going on. Listen, guys, I tell you what, I have so much gratitude. It's almost like I'd rather sit here in silence and cry these tears of joy and gratitude than even talk. There really aren't any words for the level of gratitude that I have for the Narcotics Anonymous program and how it taught me to live moment by moment, how to keep it simple. Because I was a person, I remember my aunt telling me a long time ago, she said, girl, You know what your problem is? You project too far into the future. You overanalyze everything. You're over analytical. And as a result of you being like that, sweetheart, you look at a situation, you look at A, B, C, and D, what the potential for all of them. And if you don't like the outcome of what you're imagining it to be, you don't do anything. And it's not procrastination, baby. It is, right? She said, it's not procrastination. You're paralyzed with fear when you do that. Now, the people on the other end think you don't give a darn. The people on the other end think that you don't care, that you I have made a false commitment, right? But in reality, you're paralyzed with fear because you're over analytical. You look at everything and try to come up with what the end result would be. And then your current action is dependent on something that you projected into the future. Sweetheart, that's not reality. I looked at that lady, I was like, mm, I project that you're not talking to me right now. No, no, right, right. When she said that, my mouth literally just dropped open. I mean, I knew she was pretty intelligent, right? I knew that she was pretty intelligent. I knew that she loved psychology. I knew that she was like me. Her bed was full of books and she slept with her books. She loved learning. I knew that, but I did not expect her to nail it like that. And so I got you in my pocket right now, right? I got you in my pocket because I know that as an addict, that's what pretty much all of us do. And just because we put the drug down doesn't mean that it stops. We overcomplicate every single situation. We look at it so far into the future. We see the failure, the embarrassment. It's not going to cause us to be viewed the way that we want it to be, and we don't act. We make up excuses, maybe even lie. We don't have to do that today. When opportunity presents itself today, I don't have to know the end result all of the time. What I do know, though, let me end it with this. What I do know is that I am a person of prayer and meditation. I spend a lot of time in the conscious contact with the God of my own understanding. And that own understanding, it may sound like to some folk that it's a little bit less than what they perceive as appropriate religiously. Well, how can you understand God? I'll tell you what, that's too big of an answer, right? That question is way too large for me. I can't tell you that. I don't understand God in that sense, that I know God in all ways. I can't claim that. But what I can claim is that I'm an individual, a human being that has been brought into a world that is somewhat relatively chaotic and scary for me at sometimes, and that I have to use my faith, my belief that I'm cared for and that I'm loved by a higher power, something greater than me. And at this point, I'm not talking about the group. I'm talking about something greater than the group as well. Okay. So the God of my own understanding is important in that moment, right? Because if I don't understand, if you're talking to me in Spanish and I don't understand Spanish, your intention might be good. You might be benevolent. That's great. But check this out. If I don't speak Spanish, which I do, estudié español en mi escuela por 4 años, pero mi español es malo, no entiende mucho. Okay, so I speak a little bit. So this isn't a real example, but let's say you're speaking German and you're benevolent You have goodwill. I don't know German. So actually, you could be cussing me out. You could be calling me a bunch of names, and I would not necessarily know the difference. You could sit in my face and have a conversation backstabbing me, all that you want to, and throw occasional smile up, and I would not know. I would be clueless. I lived through that in Kenya. I lived through people standing right in my presence, talking trash about me and not understanding Swahili. It wasn't until I left that I actually understood some Swahili, okay? So you can stand there and talk anything you want to. If I don't understand, here's the point. If I don't understand what you're saying or trying to say, then nothing you say or anything that you're about serves me any purpose. Now that's cold to say, but point blank, that's exactly what it is. I don't understand what you're saying. I like to think if I meet you at a Narcotics Anonymous convention and it's in you speak a foreign language, I'm in your country, probably there's an interpreter, right? But I like to think if I meet you in that setting that you do have goodwill. But that's an assumption. I don't know. I don't understand your language. I don't understand you. I don't understand your culture. So how can any of it be a benefit to me? What's my point? My point is if you don't have a God of your own understanding, I'm talking about a God that you understand how, right? How your God communicates with you. If you understand the love, the intentionalness of the care that your God has for you. I'm not saying you're going to understand everything, but I'm saying you must have an understanding to get anything from it. It's simple to me. I don't know about anybody else, so I need to lean into that on a day-to-day basis. I need to keep it simple and lean into that understanding. I need to lean into my faith. I need to lean into my hope moment by moment by moment because what we happen to do is we project the future, right? Remember that part in the base text that says relationships are, tend to be a terribly painful area. No, are a terribly painful area or something to that effect, right? We tend to project what will or will not happen. It says that, right? We tend to project. It's quite natural. But here's the thing, we can't afford to do that anymore because that projection causes us to live out of the character defect of fear. And when we're living out of the character defect of fear that we identify in step 6, then when it comes to step 7, our shortcoming is that we don't act. We are uh, unreliable. We are procrastinators. We are liars. We are a bunch of things would fit in the shortcoming part. This is what is birthed out of the character defect of fear. We project, okay? Another shortcoming it would be that we project. We're over analytical, pessimistic oftentimes. Look, guys, I can't afford today. I can't afford to live like that. Fear operated everything that I did. It controlled everything that I did. It was a joke in my family as a child for them, for my siblings, my family, to do and say things that would put me in such a paralyzing state of fear that all I could do is scream and cry out. Was it abusive? Absolutely. But the point is that fear was something that was encouraged. I mean, it was a game to be able to see me paralyzed with fear. And so I tried to move in faith today. Even if it's a small amount, I try to press that and cause some inertia. I try to press against the fear because I can't afford to go backwards. Not today, not after everything that I've seen, not after I've seen how God has used Narcotics Anonymous in my life. I cannot. Who'd have thunk that I would go to my first time ever flying? Flew over to the World Convention in Paris, all expense paid trip. Yeah, that was my first experience of flying. Who'd have thunk that I would ever go to Paris? I have pictures of me standing near the Mona Lisa picture, right? I just have really beautiful memories. Living in Kenya 3.5 years, living in India 6 months. Who would have thought? Seriously, a girl like me. And so I owe it to you to let you know that Narcotics Anonymous is a program that teaches us to keep it simple, moment by moment. You can do this. You can absolutely do this. If you're listening and you've already projected something today, I want you to stop. Stop. Because 9 times out of 10, you can self prophesy. If you go into it with that negative, pessimistic thought that you're projecting already, 9 times out of 10, it's going to work out just like that. So just stop and move over into the area of faith, right? Love. Take that frown off your face and make it a smile. Walk in the room with such radiant light and love instead of negativity, pessimism, hatred. Walk into the room, the life of the situation, and watch things turn around for you. Today, one breath at a time, we can stay clean and learn to live. That's for all of us, not just the newcomer. You've made it this far. If you made it this far, nothing is impossible. If you made it this far, and we need to start taking those day-to-day wins, those wins that we have moment by moment, right? And we need to put those as feathers in our cap of accomplishment and remember them. Remember them. When we're in fear and we're thinking that this is not worth it, we need to remember all of the good things that we have accomplished. They told me that an addict with 2 days could help the addict with 1 day clean, right? That additional 24 hours that 2 day addict being clean has over the 1 day is a hope shot. And hopefully hanging out with me this morning has been your hope shot. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you. Absolutely. Love you guys. I'm going to have a beautiful day on purpose. I want you to do the same. Talk to you tomorrow.